He's basically taken care of and lived off the land, hunting squirrels, rabbits, and deer.
Is there still someone living in the second one there?
My uncle, Amos. We have about 22 to 23 people that live here. And when these dinners come on the changes of the seasons or the changes with the earth, we sometimes have up to 140 people who attend. And on our rolls, we have about 150. This is the area where we had our roundhouse. It's a traditional or spiritual area. And during the changes in seasons, they would open the roundhouse with the dances, and they would go for 3 days. And there's a fire that burns for 3 days using manzanita wood. They are made of all eagle feathers and hawk feathers and raven feathers. Sometimes when things aren't right with the people, they chose to, instead of continue on and not doing things in a good way, or that might not been in the best spirit of their heart and the spirituality, they decided not to continue it until it was time that we brought it down. The regalia and everything was placed inside, and the roof was actually set down. And from that time, no one was ever allowed to really enter into this area.
Only a few years ago, almost all the 100 or so Californian tribes lived much like this one, on impoverished reservations on the fringes of society, struggling for survival. But then, at least for those that were lucky enough to have land near the big cities or near the interstate freeways, there came a transformation. They are now rich and powerful beyond their dreams. And what's brought that about is gambling.
We'll be building a museum dedicated to contemporary Native America, a golf course, hotel for the casino, and a destination resort. And then when we get there, we're just going to slow down a little bit and let our people catch up. And maybe the next generation will then actually use this whole valley, and then we're going to move to our motherland, which is about a half a mile over the hill here. And then economic opportunity is there. We're going to jump on it because we're entrepreneurs now. We understand that game. Really, what this gaming done too, it has begun a cultural renaissance. The people are learning their language. We're learning our ancient songs and dances again. And it's been a focal point and a catalyst for the community to gather around something that's very sacred and very, well, it's 10,000 years old. Governments can have gaming enterprises. The state of California has the lottery, the lotto, etc. And so they, as a government, can, if they pass the laws, which they did, to create a gaming enterprise. So Indian reservations are governments. We've been governments before the inception and the creation of the United States of America. We're governments today, so that's why we have the same privilege.
The Constitution of the state of California seemed to offer the Indian casino-owning tribes a way out. It allows for propositions to be voted for at election time which overrule the normal laws of the state legislature. The campaign for Proposition 5, a sweeping measure which legitimizes Indian casinos and limits the ability of the state of California to interfere with them, turned into the most expensive political campaign ever waged in any state in the Union.
For over 100 years, the once proud Indian tribes of California were assigned to live in a world of obscurity, beset by poverty, welfare dependency, and despair. For most Native Americans, there was no American dream.
That's why we're circulating a petition to put a measure on the ballot to keep the gaming we have and continue our progress towards self-reliance.
Come on. Okay, we'll do that. Very good. We'll do that. There's really nothing wrong with these tribes finding a way to make some money. Citizens are very supportive of tribes that want self-reliance. But what tribes are doing right now is illegal. They're throwing up casinos in violation of state laws and federal laws. And when you have a casino that all of a sudden is built next to your home or the school that your child attends or next door to your church, you get involved.
Right now, most Indian casinos are far away from where we live. Proposition 5 will change that. It could bring over 100 new casinos to tribal land. Even worse, with the approval of just 2 politicians, and build a casino. Proposition 5 gives us no vote and no voice.
We don't have to put up with this.
Proposition 5 leaves you no choice.
Big money and no independent regulation lead to one thing: crime. Independent regulation, that's why law enforcement is against.
No state gambling tax, no local property tax. They'll make over $1 billion a year, tax-free. I pay taxes, you pay taxes, but Indian casinos won't. They'll be the only businesses that'll never pay. Taxpayers, business groups, working men and women oppose Prop 5. It's a special deal for casinos, a ripoff for taxpayers.
Jonathan, I admit that Vegas might be a bizarre place, you know. Have a look over here. Try to imagine. The gondolas, the canals of Venice, second floor of the Venetian in Las Vegas. There will be gondoliers singing arias, and be a constant Venetian carnival. with masks and jongleurs and glass blowers. Right now we are at Mark Square. Can you imagine? 23 meters high, 60 meters wide, 40 meters on this side. And this is a duplication of the famous St. Mark's Square. Coffee shops, restaurants, happy people. Can you imagine? Have a look at all this.
It's about an $800 million project, including the remodel, which was completed about 3 years ago.
There were a wide range of Californians who were very opposed to this. They didn't have the $70 million that the Indians did from their illegal casinos, but you had all of the labor unions in California, you had the state chamber of commerce, the governor of the state, law enforcement, and a whole range of educators, Christian groups who did not want casinos of any kind in the state of California. They got overrun by the huge expenditure that the Indians made with their illegal casino profits.
But why should that be your business? That's the Californians' business.
The principal reason we opposed Proposition 5 was that it created a monopoly for Native Americans. It excluded all other people from being involved in gambling in the state of California. Since we're in that business, we felt that was unfair and perhaps unconstitutional.
Nevada's casinos want it all. A secret backroom deal threatens to shut down tribal casinos the California Indians have had for years. One newspaper called it as Indian rights as anything the cavalry did last century. But Vegas called it a most happy coincidence of interests for Nevada, because big Nevada casinos want to kill competition from California Indians.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want. Well, 1 million.
Their whole message during the campaign was, Nevada casinos are afraid of us. All the Californians are going to Nevada. Nevada wants to control it all. They don't want us to have a chance. And it resonated well with the voters because the proposition passed with, I believe, 63 or 4%.
That was the most expensive campaign in the history of California by one side, more than liquor or the tobacco industry or the insurance industry has spent in the past. I mean, it's astounding that people could convince the majority of Californians that they were impoverished as they spent money in an unprecedented fashion.
Some of these casinos make $1 million a month, some of them more. They are not poor. They were not on welfare. They are very wealthy. They were out there on the television protecting their wealth.
So March or April would be up to do that? Yeah. May or June is the best time. May or June? Now. Ew. Tribes, because we're most of the time related and should be helping each other. Because we're most of the time related. And those have been my nephews, my daughter, my grandchildren. Yes, I do have a bitterness that they cannot come and eat with you. They don't need to give us thousands, just a little love and care. As of this time, we have gotten nothing from them, even support on resolutions to help the little tribes get other federal grants. They're so busy with gaming, they don't support us.
Enjoying yourself now? That's all the money in here, right there. There's no more?
Well, you know, I tell you what, I agree with that last statement that you made. I think it has to be significant enough so that those other tribes have an opportunity to develop their own economy, to strengthen their own government, and to get off the welfare. If we end up with a society of haves and have-nots as far as Indian country is concerned, I believe we're making a big mistake.